What's up?
What's up, everybody? This is Information Man Show. Thank you. As you already know, I've been endeavoring in reboosting up my other channel. It used to be called Information Man Speaks Podcast, but now it is Info Media Reacts. So definitely catch that channel because I'm really popping a lot of content over there. But today we're going to have a really good show. I've got my man Ray Alexander with me today. And if you know, we've done other videos where we've really breaking things down scientifically. We've gone over many subjects around black men when it comes to the labor market. We've gone over topics around black women who are earning college degrees. And then we have in this topic today, the mating ritual, which is when you have someone who is a blue collar worker, a brother that's a blue collar worker, is that a good match for a black woman who's college educated, gaining high salary due to a college education? Maybe she's working in a tech job like this sister right here. Maybe a brother is a mechanic. And we also need to keep in mind that, you know, in a lot of these skilled trade jobs, you can make a lot of money. So will a sister, are we living in an age, we have the Z generation, we have the millennials, a lot of things have changed when you compare it to what Gen Xers are willing to do, or baby boomers. Will the sisters at this stage of life, when we're living in this modern world, you have the modern woman who basically can take care of herself. She has her own car, her own job, maybe her own business. She's educated. Will she overlook the brother who has a blue collar job? Or will the brother that's a blue collar worker not even shoot his shot, as we say today, to even consider approaching a woman who has a high, what we would call high earning power, and maybe a woman who's working in tech or something of that nature? Would that be out of his lead? Will a brother approach? Will a black woman accept a black man, a man who's a blue collar worker? We're going to go over this, and we're going to also, me and Ray are going to look at what's the difference in the earning power, because you may be very surprised. And if I want to say something too that's very important here. I've recently looked at some studies, and I'm pretty sure Ray is aware of these things too, where it looks like the younger generation of males have decided, why go to college, get all that college debt, when I can just simply go into skilled trades, whether it be plumbing, electrician, some sort of engineering field, where you can join a union, a apprenticeship, and earn very high salary, and also have the ability to create your own business. So that is what's happening in terms for the younger generation today, who is saying, I'm not going to do what my father did or my grandparents did. I'm not going to go to college and get that debt, because one can make the argument that are black women who are getting these high tech type of skills. There are black women that are going into business for themselves. They're becoming doctors, physicians, accountants. They're working in tech, STEM, medical. They're going into nursing, all sorts of fields that pay very well. But what is the debt that black women incur when it comes to getting the almighty advanced degree, whether it be the BA degree, the master's degree, and maybe even a PhD? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to mention there's a couple of books out there you should be aware of. The Power of the Past. We're going to talk about that. The Understanding of Cross-Class Marriage. There's also a book that Ray had sent me by email, The Guide Through the American Status System by Paul Fusier. I don't know if I'm saying the names correct. I'll have Ray correct me on that, but that's another book. We got another book that Ray will talk about called The Richer Sex, How the New Majority of Females Breadwinners is Transforming Sex, Love, and Family. And so this question we have to ask ourselves is it a match in heaven, or is it not a match? Okay. Another question we'll bring up today is, have Black women that have gone and gotten higher education, are they settling for Black men who are not as educated in terms of formal education, meaning college degree? Are Black women settling for men of that ilk, and should they? Because if you look at history, most people, when they are in a certain socio-economic background, or their families of a certain socio-economic background, they tend to marry those that they're equally yoked to, meaning a person who either comes from money, comes from similar educational background, socio-economic background, and what have you, that have things in common. Could someone, whether it be a Black woman or a Black man who is a blue collar worker versus a white collar worker, sister here working in tech, is there a mismatch? Meaning, will they have things in common? And this is the truth. There's nothing wrong with people who work with their hands, who do physical labor. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, because you can still earn a high wage depending on what type of skill trade you go into. So we're going to talk about that today. Me, my man, Ray Alexander, and we're going to bring him right on up right now, everybody. Thank you. Let's get at it right now. Ray, unmute yourself. And here we go, Ray. Ray, unmute yourself. Let me know if you can hear me, brother.
I can hear you. Greetings, information man, and the audience and chat room family.
Peace to everybody in the chat room. We got my man AM1 saying info, man, grabbing all the third rail topics today. What's going on? Omega Dreads Gaming Channel. Ray Alexander's in the chat room. We got we hear RY. Bobby Knight has come over. What's going on, brother Bobby Knight? What's going on, Bobby Knight? Now, let me just clarify to everybody in the chat room. This isn't about punching down on either Black men or Black women. We're simply looking at the data. And I want to tell you that you're going to be surprised by the data and research that Ray has been able to dig up, so to speak. And we're going to get into it. And you're going to be surprised by some of these things. So, Ray, let's take it off from there, brother. Let me put the first thing up on the board that I want us to start off with. And let me do this right here. I want to say welcome to the Information Man Show, everybody. Please share, like, and subscribe to the channel if you can. And part of the main topic here, Ray, is, are blue-collar brothers compatible with college-educated career women? Ray, what's your position on this? I mean, you're the one that brought this particular topic to the table here today. Where are we going to go? Where are we going from here? Because I have, as I told you before we went live, I have sort of clipped some of the information that you sent me, so I can pull it up on the screen and we can summarize where we're going with this particular issue. So, for example, I put this up right here, and it says the research says that blue collar, white collar romantic coupling is a matter of mismatch. Now, Ray, go from there, brother. Let us know what's going on here.
Well, thanks for having me up. And the truth of the matter, the short answer and the long answer, although there are exceptions to the rule, is that it's basically a mating mismatch. On the first book that you talked about by Paul Fussell, called The American Class Status System, blue-collar workers, there are different levels of that. women who are, a lot of our women who are becoming college educated, particularly when they go to premier colleges and they're becoming physicians, dentists, attorneys, judges, marketing directors, they are working in an upper class environment. And so Paul Fussell, in his book, he identifies that as the professional managerial class, which works for the elites.
Mm-hmm.
For the men in the blue collar trades, they are considered the proletarian class, which is the working class, which is there are levels of it. You have the high level proletarians who are highly skilled. This
Mm-hmm.
would be master carpenters. This would be people like master welders, master electricians, people who are at that level. They're unionized. They do a lot of good things. The lower proletarians would be semi skilled and unskilled. So the issue in the Black community is that a large percentage of our Black men are in jobs that are semi-skilled and unskilled. That would be a semi-skilled job would be like a long-distance truck driver. You
Mm-hmm.
would get to go to school about 6 weeks, learn how to do that. You get hired by a truck company, and you do that. As opposed to a woman who might be a nurse where she gets a 4-year Bachelor of Science degree and a master's degree, or if she's a dentist and she gets a bachelor's degree 4 years and then 4 more years to get a doctor of dental medicine degree, or if she is an attorney and she goes to get a bachelor's degree and then 3 years of law school, or if she wants to get an MBA after a bachelor's degree. So you're talking about people whose educational levels are different, their class and socioeconomic status levels are different, even though they might have started at the same background. You might have both come out of the just like Michelle Obama, who was came out of the west side of Chicago called O Block, which is a
Mm-hmm.
real hard neighborhood to come out of. She graduated with honors at Whitney Young High School, which was a
Yes.
magnet school.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the National Honor Society, went to Princeton, then went to Harvard Law School. It does not surprise me that a woman at her level would interact and marry with another Ivy League man who was also a lawyer, uh, who became president. Now, that's kind of an extreme, but when I was looking at the research, typically a lot of couples, when they're in college, when they're in graduate and professional school, that's law school, medical school, MBA
Mm-hmm.
programs, doctor of pharmacy programs, these types of things, they tend to date and attract people who are doing something similar. So, what has happened on the internet, there's been a lot of pushback because women like Ebony K. Williams, who is a lawyer in training, whose former fiance, who was also a lawyer, who's a chief financial officer of a private equity firm, who kind of used his position to help Ebony also become a millionaire. And she also did that on her own as a broadcast journalist. The point of the matter is, this has been commonly done for a long time. And what I
Mm-hmm.
think is happening among a lot of the men who are not necessarily high proletarian, highly skilled, blue collar workers, they're having some issues about that they may want these women. They said they didn't care about the woman's education because
Mm-hmm.
previous generations, like the boomers and Generation X women, did accept men who had a differential level of education. But Generation Z and millennial women, especially those women who are working in upper tier professions, broadcast journalism, corporate law, uh,
Mm-hmm.
marketing and brand management, physicians, dentists, lawyers, judges, high level, even in STEM. When they're working in STEM, they're working at high level consulting. They're working at Accenture with an MBA or a Master's of Information Technology Management. And they're working for Oracle. They're doing a lot of high levels consulting where they're
Right.
working with other MBAs. They're working with vice presidents when they're consulting and advising these people. They're working for premier firms like SAP,
Right.
which is uh, a German business software company that has a major branch. It's one of the top top software companies here. They're working with Dell Technology. They're working with Deloitte Technology. They're working with all these premier firms at a very high level.
Right.
Whereas, unfortunately, from a lot of reasons, brothers, even when they go into technology, they're kind of working at a lower level on that. They may be trained as an Amazon Web Services tech. They might be a hardware installer. They might be a help desk clerk. They might be a person who is
Right.
at those levels. So they have very, very
Yeah.
important jobs, but it's different from the people who design the systems and manage the systems at a high level. You want to make a comment on that?
Yeah, Ray, let me stop you right there. Let me say something because I know this is the big, on these YouTube streets, you hear a lot of brothers and sisters, there's back and forth, and you hear brothers say, that they don't care about how, well, let me just say this. I'm going to generalize this because I can't say all black men. There are some black men, particularly that I hear on the YouTube streets, that will say they really don't care about how much education that the woman has, that the most important criteria of that woman is basically, is that woman feminine, how that woman carries herself, how that woman makes that man feel. Do she have the nurturing ability, meaning to be a good mother? Because we know that women are the first teachers to the children. So I think a lot of men don't want the corporate woman at home. They want the feminine, the family lady, the loving, caring woman at home. And I think the way women look, I'm generalizing here, it seems the way women look for a mate is a lot different than what men look for, because, of course, women, in some cases, generally look for men who can provide, providers, protectors, builders of the family. But if you have this dynamic today that we as brothers are going to have to deal with, that one of the reasons why black women are maybe in those kind of positions when it comes to the white collar jobs, because for the most part, black women, I think out of all the groups in this country, if I'm not mistaken, Ray, black women are getting more advanced degrees than any other group, particularly in America. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that, don't want to really do the research on that. But if you have advanced degrees from a bachelor to a master's, maybe even a PhD, then that would account for why you may have black women when they work for these tech companies, work in STEM, that they're in a higher position than maybe some black men who have not gotten what we would call a advanced college education, or black men who have not gone into certain areas. Now, we can make the argument that in this society for a very long time, black men have been a target in terms of trying to make us unequipped and able to raise a family. So if you keep black men unemployed, you keep us in dead-end jobs, then therefore you make us unviable for our women, for women, and for black women in particular. But like you said, even during the Gen X days, I'm a Gen Xer, and the baby boomer days, you still had black women that would choose black men who would be what you call a hard hat, like this brother right here. Someone that works with their hands. Maybe he's a mechanic. Maybe he works on a construction site or something of that nature. And then maybe you have black men who are not working in jobs that afford them a lot of opportunity. My position to all brothers out there, it's just my opinion. Instead of us getting on social media and sort of having a critical ideation or feelings about what we see women doing, or black women, what we need to be doing as black men is going into fields that give us a high earning wage. So therefore, there's nothing wrong with skilled trades. There's nothing wrong with becoming a plumber, becoming an electrician, an engineer of some sort. So there's nothing wrong, and you can make good money even if you didn't go to college. But I think if brothers would just focus on and encourage other brothers to focus on fields, then therefore we won't find ourselves in a situation where maybe we can't afford to raise a family, and then we have those of our women, not all, but some, who overlook us because we don't have the college education, when really what women are looking for is they're looking for stability, a man that can take care of the family, take care of them. But it becomes a conundrum when you have women that, to the point, they're doing everything for themselves that the man was built to do, which was to take care of all the things, right? Now, if women can get their own car, they can buy their own houses, they can take care of themselves, then it creates a situation in which you may have some brothers out there that say, what's my purpose? What's my role? These women, they seem to not need us anymore. We seem to be unneeded unless you want us to impregnate you. That's what some brothers or some people would think, Ray. I know I've said a mouthful there, but I thought it was important that I lay all that out as we go forward in today. And let me pull this slide up, Ray, because this is what you sent me. And I thought let me see. Assortative, this is mating based on socio-economic status. I think you spoke to that. Is the tendency of humans. This is a human trait. This is beyond race, everybody. That economic status is the tendency of humans to mate within their socio-economic peer group. That is those with similar social standards, jobs, prestige, and education. This is why I agree with this, Ray. Because when I was married, I met my wife when I got married while I was in college. I knew from day one when I went to college, I said from day one, Ray, my wife is on this college campus somewhere. I knew that I would be marrying. You know why? Because I had made up my mind that I wanted to marry a woman who was trying to do something with her life, getting educated, going into a field that I could build something with. I always said to myself, I did not want to meet a woman in a club, a nightclub, or meet a woman who is not doing anything with her life. I, as a man on these YouTube streets, am not intimidated by women who have higher education. Matter of fact, most of the brothers that I run with in my fraternity, because I said this before on another, I don't know if it was with you, Ray, or another video that I did, but what I noticed, black men who actually go to college, and this is no shade to black men who did not go to college, but black men who go to college are not intimidated by black women or women who have higher education. You know why? Because we're in the classroom with them. Half the time we're taking the same courses. We're taking biology. We're taking science classes. So when I've been in an environment, when I was in college, I was always in an environment around women who were seeking education and higher education. So therefore, it doesn't intimidate me. The black men that I roll with, the black men that I have brotherhood with, none of that intimidates us because we were in there doing the damn thing ourselves. Matter of fact, we prefer women who have a higher echelon for education because we know that that's the only way we're going to make it in this society as a couple. Meaning, whether you have college education or skilled trades, we need to be together, yoked, to make it through the society that we're in. However, some brothers out here feel that some sisters who are upper mobile and educated may look down on the brother who doesn't have the college education or see him as, I don't need a man. That's always been the running theme that we've been hearing. Ray, I'm going to stop right there. As I said, I put up there on the slider that you put out there about the socio-economic status. That is a tendency of humans. This goes beyond race, y'all. It's a tendency of all humans to match themselves with people of the same ilk. Even when you look at people, when you look at royal families, you look at cultures going way, way back. The father would always match the son or the daughter with a man of a certain status. Ray, I'm gonna stop right there. What do you have to say, brother?
Well, the important thing is that most Black women are not college graduates. You know, about 70% of Black women are high school graduates or less. So
Mm-hmm.
if a college education is not important, it's something that they don't want to really deal with, and the careers like that, then they should concentrate on dating and marrying women who are not college graduates, who are not working at high level professional careers. If that's something that is, it may not even be about intimidation. It may be about lifestyle choices, which may be the issue on that. But if you go into that, money matters and class matters. You're having these sisters who are going to universities like Wellesley. They might have gone to a college prep school. They might be at Spelman. The granddaughter of John H. Johnson, who started Ebony Magazine, she attended Wellesley. She's a graduate of Wellesley.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the type of upper tier, upper class women that are doing those types of things. So if you meet a sister from a seven sister college, or a woman from a seven sister college or Spelman, and she's third generation, second generation sorority or third generation sorority. Her great grandfather was a dentist. Her father's a doctor. You know, they have people in their background who were lieutenant colonels, even some generals. It's a different category. So if the men do not really want that, then that's fine. Most women are not at that level, but there is a disproportionate attack, in my view, on high income, high value, high status Black women who are educated, who are ascending higher ranks in the economy, in politics, in a lot of areas. And all we hear is a lot of these guys who are really not the guys who are most compatible with those women, who, for as far as lifestyle, who are unwilling to raise the children the way that people of upper tier, upper class statuses do. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of these women are strategically sending their children to private schools, private prep schools, to give them the best chances to go to the best careers.
Right.
They're not just ad hoc jumping up and saying you're going to
Right.
be this, that. No, they are preparing them for success from being, they're a baby. They're in Jack and Jill's. They're in their sorority functions. You're familiar with, they're doing all of these
Right.
things. And these millennial women and these Gen Z women who have gone to school with women from India, who are seeing that they are able to marry well, they're going to dental school and law school, and they're seeing these Indian women,
Right.
Asian women, and white women, because the difference of Indian or white male college graduates is not that far from the difference of the number of white female. And same thing with Asian. And so what happens is that the men who do not want to deal with those type interact, they just don't date them, don't interact with them, don't trash their education, don't say things like their education doesn't matter, because their education got them to be a dermatologist. Their education got them to sit as a state district judge at 34
Right.
years old, making $175,000 and ruling on various important things in life, which will affect everybody that comes under her jurisdiction. You have other women who are, doing a lot of dynamic things. You have brothers things, but there's this
This is our
attack, in my
problem.
view, on those women who've made good with the opportunities that
Right.
they've had.
This is our problem as a Black people. Let me read this right here. Many millennials and Generation Z women have invested themselves to complete their college level education and to develop their professional careers as physicians, lawyers, marketing directors. This is the problem. Black people in general will complain and say we need to have our, this is what bothers me. On the one hand, we'll say we need, where's our black doctors? Where's our black business people? Where is our black grocery stores? Where is our black industry? And if black women are going into fields such as dentistry, damn it, don't we need dentists? If black men or black women in this particular case are going into medicine, that's important. You know why? Because I've done several videos on this channel, Ray. There's stats out there that prove that black people live longer when they are taken care of by a competent professional physician in comparison to their white counterparts. I've even did a video, didn't get a lot of views, makes me wonder if we really care about ourselves, our community, because black babies stand a better chance of living when they're being taken care of by black physicians in comparison to white physicians. That's a fact. It's documented. It's a stat. I didn't make any of this up. So therefore, I don't have a problem with black women, and most of our black physicians come from HBCUs, by the way. I don't have a problem with black women going into medicine, dentistry, and any of these things, because at the end of the day, it benefits us. Now, people in the chat room, there was brother Charles in the chat room was saying that, well, when I don't know if I don't want to misquote him, but he's saying that these are personal achievements, but how is it benefiting the community and the family? Do you know? See, this is why I'm not intimidated by women who get education, Ray, because I know this. See, people, I'm in the know with this. Do you know how many black men and black women who actually go to college and they are members of organizations who, okay, you guys are going to hate on these organizations, but these organizations are doing more than you are doing? That they're members of organizations who actually go out into the community and do work, donate money to programs that's benefiting elderly, our children. Who do you think are the biggest donators to programs in a community? It's college educated black folks who have the money and the means to donate. Now, I don't want to sound elitist about that, but that's just the truth. Black people who have money, who have income, are the ones doing the most supporting of programs. So this whole thing about, well, it's an achievement, but this is the thing. If I'm with a black woman who has high education, but when she comes home, she knows how to stop being the CEO. When she comes home, she's a mother, she's a wife. She treats me kindly. She takes care of me. We are great together. She's feminine. All those things that most men are asking for. If you can get that in a woman who's educated, then you're going to benefit. It's going to benefit your children. Why would you want a woman who's not intelligent, and then you impregnate her, have children, and now your children are going to get what? They're going to get a mother who's not very intelligent, and that's going to translate to the kids. We can't say on the one hand that we want to build legacy. You can't build legacy with unintelligent people in terms of the future. We can't have it both ways. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, there's been a lot of talk also about the concept of generational wealth. Sunny Hoskins is, before she got on The View and became a media personality, she was a lawyer, and her husband is a physician. She is adamant about saying that women who are educated have to marry on their level or above for the purposes of establishing and maintaining generational wealth. Because if they marry someone who doesn't appreciate higher education, who is not going to raise children to take things to the next level, then it's basically been a waste. And so also, since these men who are talking about these women The majority of Black women are the women that they say that they want. Women who are not degreed, women who are not working corporate, women who are not lawyers, physicians, and things of that nature. So they should concentrate in their lane. There's a concept, stay in your lane with those type of women and build from there. So that, excuse me, so they don't have to be talking about someone's education is not important. They don't have to talk about class doesn't matter, education doesn't matter, money doesn't matter. For some people, all of those things matter. The where you reside, what neighborhood you reside in, the quality of home, the quality of schools. Do you have grocery stores? Do you have safety? All of these things really matter. And when you have the financial means to do it, it
Mm-hmm.
gives you a lot of leverage.
Let me
It's
ask
not
you.
everything.
Let me ask you this, Ray. My man, GA, brother Frazier, he says, "What is the percent?" I'm gonna start. I'm gonna also read your comments as well and bring it to Ray's attention as well. Everybody, he says, "What is the percentage of Black women that are in professional, I guess, class?"
Now, when we're talking about professional class, we're talking about what 28% of Black women at least have a bachelor's degree. And then from those have the bachelor's degree, about the that's where you would get your professional class out of. I don't know. Professionals would be people who have specific types of skills that are in profession. Nursing is profession, pharmacy, dentistry, medicine, law, marketing. So there are a lot of professions
Okay,
that
Ray.
require a higher level education and advanced education.
I
I
got it
don't
right
know.
here for you, Ray. Let me
Okay.
go into more detail and thank you, everybody, for these intelligent questions that you're asking. Frazier, brother Frazier, this is for you. And Ray, you were hitting on it as well, but let me give you the raw numbers. Black women comprise 7.4% of the United States population, but they occupy only 1.4% of the C-suite positions, 1.6% of senior vice president roles, according to a 2020 report from Lean In. The state
Okay.
of Black women in corporate America. Now we know, let's keep this in mind. We have more Black women currently that are going into STEM, science, and things of that nature. But it's talking about a corporate America. According to 2020 reports from Lean, the state of Black women in corporate America, U.S. Census data shows that Black women working year around and full time in 2021 made up 69%. And let me go into this right here. There's an
Made up
article that I'll put in the
69% of
chat
what?
room. So right here, Black professional women. Let me see. This article came out. Let me make sure I put the right date on here. It says professional high at 40, becoming the first director of diverse inclusion. So these are programs. So right now, I can't get into this article right here. But let me just say this to you. This article also talks about the struggle that some Black women find themselves in when it comes to in the job world, where they have few workplace peers in diversity. So although Black women are getting higher education, Black women, just like Black men, find themselves in corporate America, if they're working in corporate America, in other jobs where they don't have many other people and many other peers like themselves to piggyback off for support. So the numbers are small,
Yeah. Now,
but they're still getting the education. Go ahead, brother.
when we're talking about growth in the society, but let's talk about the number and percentage of Blacks in medicine. So
Okay.
right now, Black women are about 60% of the MD graduates, DMD or DDS graduates, about 67% of the law school graduates, master's degree programs. So that percentage would be our professional class. So when you have a smaller percentage of our men for them to choose from, some of them are saying that if they really particularly want to marry a Black man, they will do that. Some will marry out, but some are saying that they're going to have a good life on their own. So they can do well by themselves. So That's the issue. It's not the gross percentage of people
Mm-hmm.
who are professions. It is the percentage of Black male to Black female ratio in the professions. And these are young women. So the women in the Gen Xers, and I'm not knocking it, they're already they're not completely out of the marriage game. We're talking about Gen Z and millennials. So when we talked about on our last time we talked, we showed how Morehouse School of Medicine, uh, Howard University College of Medicine, Meharry College of Medicine are all 60% female. Those are
Right.
historically Black schools. Now Xavier is just establishing the medical school right now.
Right.
When we go to the historically Black law schools, Florida A&M, Southern University, Texas Southern University, Thurgood Marshall, Howard University Law School. There may be a couple of more that I'd have to, North Carolina Central Law School. All of these have 60% female populations and graduate. So
Mm-hmm.
that is we're talking about the women that are coming out now when there's a
Right.
big change. And they're
This
saying that they're not going to do like their grandmothers.
right. Let me
They're
just
not.
say this too,
Mhm,
Ray. This is why this is what I'm saying. I want to see Black men go into medicine as well.
mhm,
Across the board, it is important that we as a people go into medicine for these reasons. Check this out. Black Americans make up 13% of the United States population, so they claim, right? But check this out. But comprise only 5.4% of positions in the workforce. And of these, only 2.8% are Black women. This is why, as I said before, we need Black men and we need Black women, however many, to keep going into the field of medicine. Because if you do your research, and I've done videos on this with the data, Black people in general do better when we are in the hands of a competent Black physician. That is truth.
And
Go
also,
ahead, Ray.
and also, would you bring up the concept about? Remember, on one of those we had at the bottom where we
Tell the
talked
truth.
about the Bureau of Labor National Statistics, where they're showing that the average wage of a nurse is $94,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's when they worked at 40 hours. All the nurses I know work 12-hour shifts 5 days a week at minimum. That's 60 hours. That's how they're able to stably get into that six-figure salary,
Right.
and they're doing it. They're knocking it out.
Ray, check this out, Ray. See, we're not just up here talking, folks. I work around nurses and doctors and psychologists every single day in my field and profession. We have traveling nurses that can make goobs of money going from state to state. You have in-house. The big thing that's happening, Ray, is in-house care. You have a lot of seniors and people who want to be taken care of at home and don't want to be in nursing homes. So you have in-house care. It's a booming industry. And check this out. I see lots of Filipinos, Asians, and other groups of people getting in it. We need to be in it as well. Because although it is hard work, hours can be long. There are nurses that I know personally, Black and other races. I know they're clocking over 100,000 a year or more, because they're also getting all that overtime money. But that's a whole nother issue, Ray. Mm-hmm. Ray, let me read this to you, because this is another clip, and you can also address what I had said if you like, brother. But this is another clip that you sent me and everybody that Ray sent. He says, in previous generations, the blue collar, white collar, romantic coupling worked. However, so you said it, Joe. You said it, Ray. Back in the baby boomer and Gen Xers, like myself, like you, I believe you're a Gen Xer. Like you said, women were more likely to marry a man, get involved in a relationship with a man who may have been what we would call more of a blue collar type of brother, right? You know, like that, right?
Right.
But now however, things are changing. This may no longer be the case for today's modern millennial and Gen women with professional careers. So there's a shift in a culture change amongst a younger generation. Go ahead, Ray, because I also have that Tyler Perry that I'm gonna pull up in a little bit too, brother. But go ahead.
Okay, if you go, it's about time for that because I was going to say, in our group, our women have been socialized
Mm-hmm.
to marry. This is going to sound hard, to marry down. So if you could go ahead and go bits and pieces of that Tyler Perry movie, as well as the what's the one by Terry McMillan, the
What I'm gonna do?
Disappearing Act.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do? Let's go with the. I think the Tyler Perry. I may not. Let me see what I've got here.
Or you could just show the still photo and we can discuss it.
Right.
But you can
Let
go
me.
over the disappearing acts from the one that you showed
Right. Let
them.
me. Let me do this, Ray. Um, I want to put this on here. So let's read this right here. Everybody in the chat room, do you remember the disappearing act as well as Tyler Perry's Daddy's Little Girl in the movies, like Tyler Perry's Daddy's Little Girl and Terry McMillan's Disappearing Act? Black women have been associated and admonished to accept black men below their educational level. Now, let's go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and do this, Ray.
Okay.
Let me take this off right here. Give me a minute. And let's do this. Let me see here. Okay. So let's do this. Hopefully I can pop this on here. We'll see, like so. So let's share this right here. And I'm only going to play a little bit of this, Ray. But everybody's familiar with Daddy's Little Girl.
Back together.
We don't really care what the judge says. We just want to be with you.
I think we have a really solid case.
Tyler Perry and Lionsgate present
You need to get out and have some fun.
What's fun? All I do is work.
a story about raising a family.
I know the world will have you thinking that brothers in the hood don't look after their kids, but
Boom. I just wanted to give you a little piece of that. And Ray, go ahead. I can't play it all, copyright reasons, but I just play a little snippet. This is fair use with the purpose of educating, critical analysis, teaching, and parody. Ray, I gave a little taste of that. A lot of folks hopefully should be familiar with that movie. What do you have to say about that, brother?
Well, this is the whole attack on Ebony K. Williams, the attack on professional, highly educated black women. Now, I enjoyed Tyler Perry's movie. It was very entertaining. But Gabrielle Union is an Ivy League educated lawyer who's inheriting her father's multi-million-dollar personal injury law firm. Unfortunately, Idris got in trouble, felon. He's her chauffeur. He has 2 children from a previous marriage, and the woman that he previously married is involved with a drug dealer. This is a complete mismatch. Her friends, which they were supposed to do at the Atlanta Aquarium, I'm familiar with Atlanta, Contis Vaughn and whatever the Terry Vaughn and whoever was paying her friend Regina Hall, they were admonished. They said, "Babe, this guy's not understands who we are. In other words, he's not our kind of people." Now, in make believe, in Tyler Perry movies, in Disney movies, that may work. In the real nitty gritty, it's just drama all over the place. And you're going to have these people, these women. And this is what you even have women coming over here. Remember when you showed that picture of that other woman who I said was the pick me, trying to admonish these black women that they're not behaving? Look, if the red pill was real, these brothers would up their game to be that top 20%, that top 25% guy and have those women he wants.
Right.
But
Ray,
it's
you
yeah, go ahead.
you got someone that agrees with you. We got my man DJ Torch in the house, Torch and Friends, Live Empowerment Network. Thank you for coming over, brother. He says, Daddy's little girl was in Hollywood fantasy, not real life. And Ray, you just said what this brother has put in the chat room. We got to keep it in mind. These movies sometimes give us a false reality or fantasy. What's going on, narratives and dialogue? '06 to you, brother. Black American Television News is in the house. Bonnie Rose, let me just say what's up to everybody. We got my man DoorDash Revolution. Make sure y'all go check out his channel as well as Narratives and Dialogue. DJ Torch, I'm sure you got a channel. Check him out. Peace to Charles, who's been putting some good statements in there. We got Love One in the house. Peggy Roster came through. GA is here. We've got Blue Devil Glean is in the house. I just want to thank everybody, Alicia, everybody that's come over. Thank you. Last Call is in the house, and so many other people that I might have missed. But Ray, you got a brother here that agrees with where you're coming from. Let me read what Black American Television News and Information is saying here. I think it is time for Black parents to teach Black boys to get in STEM fields and to be builders. It seems to me we'd rather teach our daughters to strive for the best. That's a pretty powerful statement there. You know, I think, personally, I think that we spend maybe too much time, maybe people going to be mad at me for saying this, but I think maybe we spend too much time putting our young men on basketball courts and football fields. I'm just saying.
Tell the truth.
But that's a side note, Ray. Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's an important side note because that's only a 2% success rate. Mm-hmm. Because in basketball, it's less. It's 1.8% that they'll make it to the NBA, 2% per chance that they'll make it to the NFL. But I'd also like to go ahead and discuss the woman disappearing acts where you had Sanaa Lathan and what's the brother from Blade's name?
You got Wesley Snipes, who was very popular with the ladies over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and do
about
this.
A sister with a master's degree in education, which is evidently means nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and he had not graduated from high school. He was delivering her furniture to her new apartment. And, you know, if you've ever been in sales, the first part of sales is to, quote, overcome all objections. And if you remember
Mm-hmm.
that film, I couldn't find that particular quote, part of the film. He told her when he first met her, you know, you probably want one of them MBAs down on Wall Street making all that money. You don't want no everyday guy like me. And so what he did was diffuse her, make her feel guilty that she wanted to have somebody that could provide well, and he turned her life into a nightmare.
Right,
And,
because he wasn't honest. And for brothers out there as well as sisters, you got to be honest with people when you get into a relationship. Just be honest. And I think that gets us into a world of trouble. I think Wesley Snipes' character, if I'm not mistaken, didn't have a high school diploma, and I think he misled her. And then he did a disappearing act on her, right? For in the movie, I think it was about a year or so. We got to be honest with each other. Black women, black men, be honest with one another. Don't waste one another's time. Let me put this up here before I go to that video, Ray. Another add-on to what you were researching. The consequences for college-educated black women with professional careers dating or marrying down has been that doing so has kept those women from moving further up the socio-economic ladder. Now, Ray, That's a bold statement. There's people out there who may not like to hear that statement there in the research that you found. What does that mean? That if a black woman lowers her standard, there go that word again. That's a very polarizing word for a lot of people, standards, that it could put her back in terms of her socio-economic ladder, moving up, because everybody wants to move up. You want the best. What do you think, Ray?
Well, it's quite necessary. It's because they're not a close enough member. Just like they're like, I think for as far as educated white men, it's maybe 2 percentage points down from educated white women, so that they can easily, and it's more close for Asian, but for black women, it's 6 to 8% down. So when you put those percentage points into hundreds of thousands of people, sisters graduating with a master's of public administration, she might be working for the Housing and Urban Development Department and making as a GS-14, making $125,000 a year. And there just aren't very many brothers that have done the same thing. And this is not asking too much.
Okay.
This is asking for reasonable people to do what other reasonable people have done. And it's not just about income. There's a brother in Hawaii who made $100,000 delivering for DoorDash. If he can do that 7 days a week, but that's not the same as someone who is a state district judge making $175,000 a year with a JD.
Ray,
And
let me
you can
say
take
this.
that to the next level and have a 6-figure retirement. Go ahead.
Here comes the pushback. This will be pushback that I think some of the brothers in the chat room would bring up, those brothers listening to this podcast, and maybe this is my pushback as well. I mean, Charles left a good point here. I think GA said the same thing as well. I think GA said there's not enough programs for black boys. Charles says unity, the black community invests in black boys. These decisions are meaningless. Other groups invest in their boys because men inspire themselves on their environment. Now, I'm going to say this, everybody. I think that, for example, when Obama had his keepers, his brother's keepers program, black women out there, I'm generalizing here, they felt some kind of way and said, where are the programs for the girls? When I was growing up, the boys club was for boys. It was called the boys club. And the girls always had their own girls club, but then they integrated it and said, oh, it should be boys and girls club. I have to admit, Ray, that we live in a society today where anything that boys do that's exclusive to them, eventually it gets inundated with the other sex, meaning you got to now let girls be in it. Even with football, you have flag football for females now, but it seems like you have to, boys, we need to concentrate on more programs, academic programs, more things to build up boys, because a lot of girls are getting encouragement to go in these various different fields. But if we want to change, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but if we want to change this narrative, we need to have more programs that do cater to boys. And I would say this, Ray, say what you will about black fraternities. Everybody talks about the boule and all that. So people love to use the term boule, don't even really know what they're talking about, really, to be honest. But I know for a fact that in my organization that's been around for 117 years, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, that's what we've been doing for a very long time, particularly focusing on black boys. I'm proud of the fact that I have actually worked with black boys, sent black boys to college, gotten black boys involved or black young men into skilled trades. We have a exclusive program of mentorship. We have what we call alpha academies, where we deal with the family and the fathers and the issues that they have raising their sons. And we have tutorial programs, improving their academics. We have a partnership with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program that we get involved in. And we have individual mentorship, where we have black men paired up with young males to go into fields that they're interested in. So if they want to be a doctor, we pair them up with a brother in our organization that is a doctor and monitors them. We have programs within the Alpha Academies where we monitor black young men from the time that they're in high school or elementary school, and we follow them as they matriculate through the system. This is what these organizations are doing that a lot of you will say, oh, that's the boule. But while you say these things, you're either doing one or two things. You're either not doing shit yourself, or you're not even connected to an organization that's doing that. I remember, Ray, that I was on the Sunday Rumble when O'Shea had the Sunday Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And brothers were complaining, don't be the fix-it guy, blah, 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 and kept complaining about black males being feminine. And I kept saying, well, if you're concerned about black males becoming feminine because they came from single mothers, how are we going to change that dynamic if black men who are willing to get involved and mentor these young men? Well, it ain't my job. It ain't my job. You see, they made a wrong choice, but yet you want to keep complaining about a system or something that's continuing, yet you're not involved. And this is how you can get involved. See, you can do it in various ways. You can get your hands dirty and mentor a child, or if you don't have the time, you can also donate your money to an organization that's doing the work. An organization like Urban Nerds Worldwide, run by my man George Makem in Philadelphia. He's doing the work. How about you donate to his organization? You get a tax write-off, right? And so when I brought this up, Ray, it was as quiet, so quiet that you could hear a rat pissing on cotton. When you get on these YouTube streets and you give direct solutions to most Negroes complaining about these problems, and you tell them, hey, you can support our organization indirectly if you don't want to get involved physically because you don't have time. And when I said these things, nobody had anything to say. When it was quiet and silence, I knew I was dealing with phony balonies who are just on social media running their mouth. I stand on that, Ray.
I agree with you. The best way, these are things that men should be doing right now. Richard Reeves, who wrote the book of Boys and Men about the boy and man crisis in the United States, said that it's particularly for Black American men should be going into education and nursing. Education, Black men only make up 2% of classroom teachers. If we can get them to make up a significant percent of classroom teachers, they can mentor and develop young Black boys at that time. And teachers in most of the major urban areas make very good income, have very good healthcare benefits, and retirement pensions. The other thing that he asked them to go into is nursing, whereby you have only 2% of Black men in nursing. So there are opportunities for them, and they also need to run for school board, change these schools. In Dallas, they have a all-male elementary school called the Barack Obama Young Male Leadership Academy. So there can be special programs, but just complaining on YouTube is not going to change anything. And also, there were some brothers we're talking on in the chat room who were talking about this complaining about these women's development is bordering on envy. A lot of these women, they have taken a lot of time when they were being ridiculed about, oh, you graduated with honors in high school, you're in the National Honor Society, you're in the academic decathlon, you think you all that because you're in the debate club. But when they got their full scholarship to Xavier, paid for the United States Navy, and then they got the Navy Health Profession Scholarship to pay for medical school, and now she's working in the Navy as a medical officer and in the reserve, Navy Reserve, and also she's a dermatologist, then she made some good moves, and we need brothers to do that. So if you also get a chance to go over what the sister said about that piece on disappearing acts, and this
Okay.
will show that we are socialized, we are programming our women to marry down rather than to program our young boys to academic excellence and
Right.
career advancement, as you're saying through your fraternity Alpha Phi Alpha. And we see that. And I want to congratulate you that your frat brother is the 4-star general who is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, graduate of mechanical engineering at Texas Tech University. And he is the one who's responsible for defending putting the strategy to defend the United States if we're attacked. And
Okay.
this is the black man who's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, your frat brother. And
Okay.
so people want to talk about the boule and all that. He is the one who knows what's going on in real time, and he knows what's required. And we need brothers at that level. We need
Let
our
me
brothers at all of these black ROTC programs at these HBCUs. We need them filled up, learning real leadership. Well, go
let
for it,
me
brother.
let me put this up here because this brother right here, KW Dove 7, earlier gave me a $5 super chat. So thank you for that.
Thank you for the super chat.
Says here, I am a stationary, if I'm reading this right, stationary engineer in Ontario, Canada. The medium income is $85K. All right. That's what it is in Canada. Of course, their tax status, all that is a lot different there. But definitely respect to you. That's what I want to do, Ray. Let me just say this caveat before I play that video about the disappearing act. I have heard for the number of years black men on YouTube who listen to black men. What's going on? Wow, William 454. Good to see you over here. Where you have black men who are giving advice to other black men, right? You have the black manosphere. You have red pill spaces where they tell black men, don't put women on a pedestal. Focus on yourself, black men. Build up yourself. Because if you build up yourself, you build up yourself, you build up your money, you become career oriented, the women are going to come to you when you build yourself up. So my thing is, if people are putting this into practice, then they would not have an issue with what women are doing if you're putting it in practice as a man. So if you got brothers giving you this advice about work on your purpose, on yourself, because women will be there for you, if you're still complaining about women in this category, that means you're not listening to the advice that other men have already took. Because if you are upping your game as a man, it doesn't matter what the women are doing because you're upping your game. So therefore, you are doing what? You are creating a certain status for yourself to be able to play ball in any level. So why focus on the women who are getting the education? Why focus on them when you should be focusing on yourself and your purpose? Because if you do that, you're going to be able to attract those women. But what I noticed, and you said this, Ray, a lot of guys who make these complaints is because 9 out of 10 times, these are women that they really want, but they're out of those women's lead. And I know people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. But if you focus on building yourself up, you can be in any lead that you want to be in, but you got to have the mindset and the work ethic to do so. Stop worrying about what women are doing or how many degrees they're getting. Worry about what you are doing with building yourself up. Isn't that what Red Pill? Isn't that what the Black Manosphere was teaching on these YouTube streets for a number of years? So like the Bible says, like the truth is, You judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. Where's the bearing fruit? You should be focusing on what you're bearing. Let's go to that clip, Ray, right now that you spoke of about Daddy's little girl. And let's put that up here front and center. And I want to thank whoever gave me the $5 super chat. I want to thank that. Let me take this off of the screen here. Give me 1 minute.
Would be disappearing acts. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's disappearing act. I'm going to play this clip that the sister created. Let me also do this too real quick and thank, I think this is from Love One. In the future, will you have a discussion about why boys need so much help and assistance as opposed to girls? Maybe I'm definitely open to that. If Ray is open to touching on that subject matter, Ray, we can make that our next stream down the line if that's something that you want to touch on, brother. But right. That's a good topic. That's a good topic.
We can ask Love One to come on as well, since she's familiar with it, and we can kind of research together and find out.
Yeah, Love One. Thank you, Ray. Love One. When we do that show, you're more than welcome to come up for that. I'll drop a link in the chat room for you to add to the discussion. That sounds fantastic. Okay. Now, Ray, let's go to the video that we've been trying to get to for a while now. Here we go. The Disappearing Act movie review.
Zora and Franklin's relationship was doomed from the beginning. Disappearing Acts. Now, I know some of you remember this movie from the early 2000s where Zora and Franklin meet each other in Brooklyn, New York, and they quickly get into a relationship, not realizing that they both want different things. And Zora had multiple chances to pull out of that relationship and save herself, but she chose to stay. Let me break this down. So, Franklin ends up dropping a bomb on her that, oh, hey, I know you think I went to college, but I don't even have a GED. I know you think that I have a steady job, but really I just do what I can and I'm scraping by to pay the bills. And oh yeah, I have 2 kids, and by the way, I'm still legally married to their mother. And Zora is like, wait, what? I thought we were building something real. I thought we were really going somewhere here. And in all fairness, Franklin did tell her this part. I'm not a money guy. If you're looking for a man with a fat bank account, I'm not it. And Zora chose to stay in that relationship and didn't realize that she was signing herself up to be in a one-sided relationship where she does everything. And I mean everything, like taking care of their son, paying all the bills, making all the sacrifices, trying to get her music career off the ground with little to no support from him, and also dealing with the fact that he did not marry her, and now she's become the status quo of, oh my gosh, I'm a baby mama, right? And then they realize that this isn't working, this isn't going to go anywhere, but she's holding on for dear life. And then the sad part is she finally has all that resentment and she's been holding it in. And finally, even on her birthday, she's like, you know what? I'm scared. I'm doing everything. I've been carrying you this whole relationship. And most men, they don't want to be in that type of dynamic where the woman can then throw it in their face like, hey, I do everything, even though it's true. So really, their relationship never had a real chance because the roles were drastically reversed. He moved into her place. She took him in. She pretty much cared for him, and he pretty much just made himself at home. And then they wondered, hey, why isn't this working? Role reversal. Oftentimes, it's a recipe for disaster.
I'm going to stop it right there, Ray. What are your thoughts so far, hearing what she just stated right there, brother?
Well, what I'm seeing on that is the brother who, remember, it is just showing that these movies have socialized our women to feel guilty about not accepting the guy who is not on their education level, not on
Mm-hmm.
their socioeconomic status or class level, and
Right.
he ruined her life. And he knew he didn't have offer. What was his? Even his wife said, "You didn't tell her," because I remember the movie. I enjoyed the movie. You didn't tell her you got two kids. You didn't tell her you didn't finish your G. Couldn't get work in the union because he didn't have a GED. So he basically, in this narrative, happens too much in our community. So on the one hand, you penalize them for going to school. On the
Hmm.
other hand, when they give a brother a chance, you call them stupid for giving them a chance. But the real emphasis, as a loved one is saying, is that we need to develop these black boys into excellent men, and we need to help these men who are grown and who are marginalized in this economy to take it
Mm-hmm.
to the next level. All this energy attacking a small, a percentage of attacking Ebony Williams is a waste.
Well, let me just say this, Ray. I think the reason why Ebony Williams got the criticism she got, because I think we've been seeing a trend where you have women deciding to skip having the mate. I understand she wanted a baby, but but this is where it gets a little funny, brother. Is it? I mean, she may have money and she has certain level of success in her personal life, but you've now gotten yourself pregnant through artificial insemination, in which you're going to raise a child that will not have, or it appears to be, a child you're going to raise by yourself without the father figure in the life of the child, because you had some donated sperm that was inserted in you. I think that's what, in general, it's got some brothers sort of like tripping, because I think it all comes down to this. I'm going to put my therapy cap on here. I think it's a psychological thing. I think what's happening in today's society is that there are men who feel this way. Maybe you can call it an insecurity. They feel like the value and the role that we as men play is starting to diminish, to the point that, what is our purpose? What are we here for, right? And one purpose of a man is to do what? Procreate, have a family, get married, and what have you. And if women can not only have their own house, their own car, have their own money, and now they can bypass a man that they're intimate with and just go to some clinic, get a anonymous sperm put in them, have a baby, and totally just sort of do it, what we would call in a video game, a cheat code to having a family without a father involved in it. I think that that freaks some guys out, because some guys may feel that our purpose as men is being sort of undervalued when we see women that are able to do just that. This is what some men may feel. Certainly men, in my opinion, who have some sort of insecurity, because I personally, even if I don't agree with what she done personally, it don't change my world. I'm going to be focused on the woman that I'm with, the woman that I'm dating, the woman that wants to build with me. I'm going to focus on those women, and not a woman who decides to say, hey, let me go over here and get myself pregnant because I can, and I can do this, and I can raise a child by myself. I may not agree with it personally, but I'm not going to worry about what she's doing, because I should be worrying about what I got going on over here. And I think too often we worry about what individual people are doing instead of worrying about what the hell we supposed to be doing. I'll stop right there.
Well, I agree with you that they were talking about her before she announced her pregnancy related
Mm-hmm.
to the class differences in
Okay.
dating. However,
Right.
I don't
When
hear
she
this
said she wouldn't date she said she wouldn't date a bus driver, right?
right. But
Okay,
I
go
don't
ahead,
hear
Ray.
it about Future, who doesn't live with any of his 10 baby mamas, whose
Right.
children don't live with him, who, even though he's a millionaire, they probably are not going to get the proper development that they would get if he were involved in their lives actively.
Now you
So
make a good point, Ray.
yeah,
You got what's the actor? What's the entertainer? What's the guy's name? He's got babies all over town, even though they say he's taking care of his kids. But how can he have a really who's the entertainer? Everybody, put it in the chat room. Who's the guy who has kids from different women? Says that they all know each other. What's the guy's name? Put it in the chat room, somebody. I'm making a point here.
Tell me something about the guy so I can see.
He's the one that was married to Mariah Carey. We're talking about Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon. Now, Nick Cannon is a perfect example. See, this is the thing. This is why we know that we got some issues in the black community with the way we think about stuff. When Nick Cannon came out and was bragging about having all these kids and talking about he gonna have some more kids with all these women that he's not married to. And then people excuse about Nick Cannon is that, well, he could take care of the kids, but why are we praising a man who's having kids by different women that he's messing around with, that he's not committed to, no committed family, just having kids, and we let him get away with it because he's a celebrity and we like him, and then he has money, so we figure, well, he could take care of the kids, no big deal. But it's not functionable because you know why? He can't be in the lives of all those kids and give them the proper nurturing that they need when they're all living in different households that he may visit every now and then. He can't. There's no way. And then when these kids grow up, they're going to ask him the question, Daddy, why is all my brothers and sisters, why they all have a different mother? Okay. He's going to have to answer that someday. He's going to have to answer that question. Why is he setting the wrong example for his sons and daughters when they have the question about, man, all my siblings are from different women, and all these women that he's got kids with have different personalities, different agendas, and it's just crazy. You said Future. Why are we praising Future? Because he can rap. Future is ratchet as all get out. This man has kids from all over goddamn town. So, yes, we jump on Ebony K. Williams because she chose to have a baby through artificial, right?
Right.
She bypassed having a baby daddy or having a man that she's just kicking it with and he gets her pregnant. It's not like this woman has kids from all different men all over town, because if she did that, we would be on her about that. But she made a decision to have a child to skip past the man. It does seem weird. I do have issues with it, but we don't even focus on someone like a Nick Cannon or a Future, who you can make an argument is making an even more bad example for men in this sort of lifestyle that they're living. So you're right, brother. We tend to choose who we want to get on, and we choose to come down on the women, but we got men out here that are running amok as well, who are actually making those of us who don't do those sort of things, you're making us look bad. You're stereotyping us as black men based on what other black men are doing. That also makes us, unfortunately, stereotypes us. So you make a compelling point there, brother.
And also, would you, if you get a minute, to upload that book that says "Power of the Past," where if you're ready to move to that next section.
Let me see here. This is what I want to do. Let me go. Let me do this.
Now. Okay.
Yeah, let me put this up here. Let me see this. Let me just read this real quick. People tend to marry someone with similar levels of education, income. So college graduates are not only more likely to be married, everybody, but they are also more likely to be married to each other. This is true. This is a statistic. People who tend to get a higher education, or people that are just educating, there's many ways to educate yourself, formal school. There's many different ways. People that tend to be more educated tend to get married and have unions when building family. That is a fact. But let me see this right here. Let me put this up here. Are you talking about this book right here?
That's correct.
All right. So this is the power of the past. This is what I'm going to do, Ray. I'm going to pull up this article to this book on my other computer, read some things off, and get your point. So this is the power of the past, understanding the cross-class marriage. Okay, you can get this on Amazon. Wait a minute. Let me get this right. There we go. The power of the past, understanding cross marriage. Let me see right here. A man's income is not only the only issue, and the issue is not primarily about the income a man makes. There are other lifestyle factors that are important to high achieving millennials and GZ Black women. Things like acquiring upscale homes in affluent neighborhoods that have excellent schools and other social amenities, being actively involved in their sororities and other social services. Now, I had said that earlier, that a lot of Black women who graduate, who go to college, they tend to be the type of Black women, not that all Black women don't, but they tend to be people who are involved in organizations, involved in giving back to the community and what have you. Generally here, things like acquiring upscale. I went over that already, like the links, right? Junior lead. You have the, I'm very familiar with the links. I'm very familiar with Jack and Jill organization as well. Although there are some blue collar Black men in the skilled trades that can earn $100,000 annually, the concern for many of these professional women is whether most of those men would be compatible or comfortable dating. This is a key here. Dating or being married to a college educated Black woman with a professional career that earns her six figures as a physician, a state district, a judge, or school district administrator. Research clearly shows that mixed class marriages are extremely challenging and have high rates of divorce. Ray, that's the book. You want to add on to anything here, brother?
Well, that's basically, I'm glad you went over that point. That's what we were talking about. Although the ideal in American society is that we're all the same, America has a very solid class structure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is happening in all groups. For white people who are from a lower socioeconomic status, when they try to marry out of their class, they have movies about that. There are issues with that. The ideal is that it can work, but the majority of the time is going to be very challenging. But the issue that we're talking about, we're trying to let people know it is not their perspective that these women are, quote, feeling better than them. Coach Deion Sanders, the Coach Prime, the coach of the University of Colorado football team, head coach,
Yes.
has said that people that have issues with his self-confidence
Mm-hmm.
have personal insecurities.
Right.
It's not his problem that they're insecure about his high level of self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I say that when these guys see these women who have come out and she's a top dermatologist or she's a top corporate lawyer and she's dressed very well, she speaks very well, she's a broadcast journalist, she's done all these dynamic things. It is not that she's achieved those things to operate in that corporate world or that professional world. It is that he might feel that he has not achieved things to interact with her, or he might have wanted to do those things similarly.
Right.
But it's just a mismatch. And so that's why they trash out that education. They want to talk about the probability of who they'll find. Why don't they find out the probability of where they will be if they don't upgrade their skills, if they don't upskill? That they're talking about these teachers not, quote, making money. I'm seeing teachers that have retired very well, that have purchased their homes, have a couple of rental properties, going to the Delta
Right.
Sigma Theta convention with their grandchildren, doing well. So the point of the matter is that it's not workable most of the time. we're even questioning whether it worked in the boomer or Gen X, or did those women accept that because they didn't have any other options?
Right. Now, Ray, I wanted to bring this up because this brother, Diggable Logic, has come in and made a good point. And we hear brothers talking about this all the time, and we know this is an issue that when you go to college, you're going to have more student loan on you. And the argument is made that, well, these black women have education, they may have an advanced degree, but they have a lot of debt that you as a brother coming together with them, you're going to have to deal with that debt as well. Now, the brother says here that skilled trade 6 figures plus no student loan to pay back. Yes, there are some skilled trade positions that one can make a 6-figure salary. That's true. But these are the realities right here. We got it. We can't deny this. This is one of the questions I should have brought up first, Ray, after reading that other statement that was under the third question. And that third question that I had read earlier was the question of why are college educated career women shamed and admonished for wanting to date or marry men on their educational level within their social class? I don't think any woman should be admonished for that, because guess what? We hear men all the time on these YouTube streets saying, don't marry a baby mama, right? Don't marry or get in, or don't even have relationships with women who have kids, right? Don't get involved with women who are ratchet, who seem like they're for the streets. Men always aim for the best. So, and women have, so if women are doing this, more power to them. But we as men should have standards as well, because women have standards, so we should have standards as well. But this question right here, are blue-collar bros unnecessarily frustrating themselves by trying to date out of their lane when they attempt to pursue romantic relationships with college-educated professional women? So it goes back to that, brothers. If you want women of that lane, then follow the advice that's been told to you, which is work on yourself, build yourself up, work on your purpose, do something, stack up your money, get yourself together, and then you will be equally yoked to get the women that you want in that socio-economic class, if that's what you truly want. Other than that, why are we complaining? I mean, it's just that simple.
As well, because I want to address this diggable logic.
Diggable logic, yeah.
There are a lot of people, there are a lot of for-profit trade schools like Lincoln Tech,
Mm-hmm.
DeVry, that have been sued by the Federal Trade Commission, where these people are coming out of these schools with $60,000 and $80,000 in debt and unemployable at the level that they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about going to a union-based training program, if you're talking about going to a public tech school like that, you can do that. But most of them a lot of these brothers are not in high-level skilled trades. When you talk to these white trade unions, look on YouTube when they're talking about, they are not in these electrician apprenticeship programs. They're not in the welding apprenticeship programs. They're not in any of these master carpentry, all of these. So the point of the matter is, there are plenty of guys that have gone to these fake for-profit trade schools. Even something like, there was one called, what was the name of that Parisian baking company that they weren't even part? It was called the Cordon Bleu School, where you can borrow $40,000 for a 1-year program in culinary arts. Lincoln Tech, before these things were taken over by the they were bought out by these private education companies, by these private equity firms, places like Lincoln Tech were affordable. Places like DeVry and all of these other places, ITT Tech, but you have a whole lot of brothers that have gotten into heavy debt with fake graphic art programs and all that. So that's
Right.
not true. I would like to see them. We have been encouraging them, but you have to have certain levels of skills to become an electrician. You're not going to become a civil designer or a draftsman without able to understand schematics. You're going to have some type of math aptitude, and they're not in those programs. And I want to see them advocate for the unions to establish the apprenticeships programs that Black men can go into immediately. The program that was started by the United States Department of Labor was like that. So this is another attack on these women. And you have a lot of these sisters who have got their medical degrees paid for and nursing degrees paid for the United States by the United States Air Force, Army, and Navy, and they're debt free. They have a high enough income that they can pay off that debt within 10 to 15 years, and they still doing it. So
Right.
it's not an honest, and not to just label this, in my view, is not an honest consideration, because we are trying to get brothers in unions. We're
Right.
trying to get brothers into these skills trades program. So even if you're in skills trades, deal with the women who want to date a man in skills trades. If you may not come across a sister who's a corporate lawyer, and she might want somebody in that professional level. So deal with the sister to say, hey, I'm down for a brother that's an electrician. I'm down for
Right.
a brother that she's down for all that. So that's what we're trying to say, is that to continue to, this is an attack on these women's desire for personal development. It's an attack on their accomplishments, and it's attack, in my view, coming from an evil place. It's not a thing of saying that these women came from the same backgrounds that we've gone through. And if you study what they have gone through working in corporate America, going to some of these elite schools, they've gone through some ups and downs too. And the
Right.
last person that they want to hear to talk to attack them is their own men, their own brothers, who are saying you think you all that. And that's really hurtful, and that's very mean spirited for brothers to attack these women for making something of their
Right.
lives.
Brother Steve says, who's praising Nick Cannon for having 12 kids with multiple women? Well, what I'm generalizing, brother. I'm not saying that. But remember when Nick Cannon came out and he went on the talk shows, I didn't really see a lot of people demonizing Nick Cannon. Imagine if Nick, I hate to do a comparison here. I believe if Nick Cannon was a woman and said that she had 12 kids by multiple men, we would be calling her a hoe. You know what I mean? All these sort of things. I'm not saying you, Steve, or any of the brothers here. I'm just saying Nick Cannon didn't really get a lot of pushback. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that people figured he's a celebrity. That's what they do. And he also has the money to take care of all these kids. I'll just say that, Stephen. I'm glad you brought this up, Ray, because I just pulled up a page here. And let me tell you what the name of it is. It says The Guide to Working in Trades as a Person. I don't like that person of color, but that's what the title is. I don't like that phrasing. But let me read this for everybody. Food for thought. Currently, people of color or people of different ethnic background are they're underrepresented, everybody. Almost all trades, only 6% construction workers are black, and most skilled trade industry show similar numbers. All right. Now, let me go down here. Black workers constitute about 6% of the workforce, despite making up 12% of the total United States labor force, or they say 13%. Okay. Now, on the other hand, Hispanics, Latino workers represent approximately 30% of construction workers, which is higher than 18% share of the national labor force. So black people in general, we're not in high numbers when it comes to skilled trades. You are absolutely right, Ray. We need to get back into skilled trades. Other groups are beating us to the punch. The Bureau of Labor Statistics comprise details, demographic data, annual letting examining the numbers. Let's see. This is what I wanted to read here. The numbers tell a similar story in more specific trades such as electrician. This is the one I wanted to get to because we were talking about electrical work. Electrical, plumbing, HVAC work, for instance, and that's big, everybody. You might want to consider going into HVAC work, but HVAC work, for instance, in electrical trades, only about 10% of electrical workers are black. Only 10%, y'all. Latinos got it wrapped up at 30%. We're only 10%. Come on. Instead of getting on YouTube and complaining about what black women are doing, we need to do something to change these numbers as a community as a whole. So if only 10% of black people represent electrician is black, and less than 2% of them, check this out, brothers, there's no need for us to be complaining. Less than 2% of black women make up this particular field of skilled trades, particularly electricians. 2% are women, pointing to an even broader issue of diversity beyond race. So therefore, what are we complaining about what women are doing when, damn it, we're letting ourselves get beat out in skilled trades where Latinos are beating us out at 30% and we only make up 10%, and the women in skilled trades black women only make up 2%. What are we talking about here, Ray? It sounds like to me that we as black men need to step our asses up and do less complaining about our women on these social media streets and get our ass out there in the real streets and step our game up, because we got more fish to fry than our own women. We got other groups that are coming over here, immigrants who are competing with us for good paying jobs. You know, we tend to think, oh, all the immigrants are going to come over here and just going to work in the fields. No, some of these immigrants are coming over here with the goal of getting education and getting good paying jobs as well. And I don't see where they're on social media complaining about their women or whatever. They're out here trying to compete to get the jobs that you want.
Well, you heard Donald Trump talk about, quote, black jobs. The things that we need to be talking about are, union-based jobs, make sure unions have black men accessing these major infrastructure developments.
Right.
You remember we talked about way back about the microchip industry. We need brothers.
Right. Follow the money, Reckless. Follow the money. Reckless, you said it, brother. Follow the money. Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem. So all I'm saying is that we need to be about that business. See, all of this attack on women, and I'm using that word, is because I think a lot of these brothers feel that they have been left out. And instead of dealing with the politics of it, making demands politically, building programs that include them, they're attacking their women for achieving things. And it's a sad state of affairs. It would be a situation in the next 20 years where you will have most of and this is from Dr. T. Hassan Johnson of Cal State University, Fresno.
Right, I'm familiar with him.
That most of the black politicians will be women.
Right, they are. But see, this is the thing. We as men, which was said earlier, is that we need to spend more time focusing on programs for young black males. We need to focus on using the advice that brothers tell us in these YouTube streets, those in the black manosphere and those who believe in red pill, which is the advice of build yourself, focus on self. Don't put women ahead of you. Men work on self. Now, I want to say this to a DMR. The brother says, brother, women don't face the racism we face in construction. I'm not saying that. But I also said, brother, that black people of different races make up 6% across the board in these skilled trades in terms of the electric and all. 6%. We're making up only 6% overall. We know that there's racism, all sort of discrimination that goes on. However, we got Latinos who are beating us out at 30% in skilled trades. Okay. Now, the women that are in the skilled trades that I just read off about being electrician, brother, Black people in plumbing and electrician and HVAC, as I said, only make up 10%. Out of that 10%, women only make up 2%. That's nothing. And yes, we deal with discrimination and racism. How about we do this then? How about brothers pull their resources and make your own damn construction company? Pull your resources and make your own. If you are a contractor and you have a license, go out and create your own contracting business. Connect with other like-minded brothers who have the same skill set and create your own contracting business. If white people don't want to give you the shot, then create your own damn shot. That's our problem, is that we're depending on the very people that we say are racist to us. We're depending on us to give us a damn job. And then when they don't give us that job, we're shocked by it. And we say, well, it's racism. Of course it's racism.
Tell the truth.
Because they're the ones that hold the keys. How about we focus on building up our own contracting businesses? How about we network with other black men, other like-minded types? Pull our resources to create our own system. Because I can tell you right now that these Latinos that come over here and are doing these jobs at 30%, I can tell you for a fact that before you know it, they'll have their own contracting company and they'll be promoting their services to the community. Hell, where I live at, all the people that I see doing the landscaping, black people used to do landscaping, all the landscaping, all the jobs, it's Mexican people. They create their own damn landscaping company. Hell, and some of them can't even speak proper English.
Some of them don't even speak English. They have translators.
Some of them have a damn green card, Ray. Mm-hmm. And they then came over here, and guess what? They come over. I know how it works. I live in California. They come over here from Mexico, either illegal or with a green card. And then somebody who has a business that's Mexican employs their own kind. They ain't employing our black asses. They employ their own kind. It comes a time, and I know people ain't gonna like that I'm saying this. It comes a time when we gotta stop complaining about the very obvious that we already know and start putting up or shut up. Meaning we know that racism exists. We know that institutionalized racism exists. We know these things. But eventually, we see other groups come here. And yeah, maybe they're getting treated better than we are. Maybe they're getting some set-asides. We know these things. We know these dynamics. But at the end of the day, why they have success over us is because they operate on a code, meaning they take care of one another. Because they see us as the enemy and they see themselves in a commonality. The problem with black folks in America is we spend too much time tearing one another down like crabs in a damn basket.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Tell the truth.
And one of the
Go ahead, Ray.
We have to do is rectify this situation. Deal with these brothers that are upset. Deal fairly with good women in your lane. Stop attacking these women that honestly you're not qualified for.
Right,
Stop
be in business.
Education.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry about if they want to be in an upper social class, they want to deal with their sororities, they want to deal with the links, they want to deal with that upper class boule society. That's their prerogative.
Right. Now, Ray, I have to say this to be fair.
Okay.
I do understand why black men in general will get on YouTube, on panels, and express the things that frustrate them about dealing with our women. I understand that because for some people, YouTube could be therapy, right? It allows you, just like being in a barbershop, it allows you to get out certain frustrations, things. So I understand to a certain level, brothers have to speak their mind about the things that they are experiencing. And we should not underestimate and undervalue the things that brothers experience when it comes to the dating world and dealing with our women. I understand the frustration. I understand that. But it comes a time when after you have that discussion and you get it all out, now you have to say, what do I do? Make a decision as to what you need to do, what you want to do, and who you choose to have in your life. I think if black men just have standards, for example, I don't want a woman I give you a perfect, a sexy red. She would never be my type. I don't want a woman with tattoos all over her body, like she's like she's advertising something. I don't want a woman. I don't want red hair, gold teeth. I don't want a ghetto mentality type of female. Okay.
Tell the truth.
So therefore, that type of woman would not even be in my rear view mirror. She wouldn't even be in my front of my mirror. She'd be in the back. Like I'm past you. But anyway, Ray, I don't want to. I know I'm getting. I know I'm getting way off topic
But a lot
here.
of these guys who are complaining about these women, they're not in the lane for a woman who graduated valedictorian, got a full scholarship to Spelman, got an MD from Washington U Medical School. There's some people I know. Lieutenant commander in the Navy. They're not in that lane, and they need to stop attacking these women. They need to focus on their real personal development, be the best version of the men that they can be, fight for their political power, financially get themselves together, because basically they're being pushed out in a lot of areas. I mean, it makes no sense that a city as black as Atlanta, that the majority of the construction workers are not black.
Right, but like brother DMR said, I have to be honest with what the brother said. Black men, and you know this, Ray, as a black man, we deal with certain discrimination that are, I don't want to minimize, because I know black women deal with racism as well, but we deal with a certain level of it that they don't deal with, because society recognizes that the man is supposed to be the provider, that the family structure runs through the man. If you destroy the man, you can destroy the family structure. Therefore, a woman like Kay Williams can say, let me go and put a baby in my body artificially, because she can't find a man, in her opinion, that's on her level. Now, this is the woman who said that she didn't want to be with a bus driver. But this is the facts, Ray. And I just pulled this up. This is the facts, Ray. This is from pure research. Okay. This came out August 31st, 2023. You may appreciate what I'm about to say here, Ray. Occupations where black workers make up 25% or more of the workforce. Check this out. Do you know that the biggest job that black people work at, this is what built the middle class, Ray. You know this, and everybody in the chat room, please hear this out. The job that we're in the most, and this is the job that built the middle class, that your baby boomer fathers and mothers worked at, that made sure that put food in your damn belly, clothes on your back, and might have sent your ass to college. And that is 40.4% of black people are working in postal services. That was the backbone of the black middle class. State jobs, federal jobs, and particularly the post office. Then at 38.5%, postal service mail carriers or processors is the next. So you have the postal service clerk at 40.4%, currently, even still right now, 38.5% postal service mail processor. Now, Kay Williams says she didn't want no bus driver, but this is the facts. 36.6% of bus drivers and transit intercity workers are made up by black people. So it is what it is, Ray. The fact of the matter is, black people are in certain positions at higher numbers they're not glamorous jobs, but it's jobs that we're in at high numbers. Then coming in at 36.0% is the nursing assistants, CNAs. I see a lot of black women working as CNAs. At 35, let me see, at 34.5% security guard, gambling surveillance officers. At 32.5% home health aides. And then at 32.0% benefits and job analysis specialists. Check this out. This one is interesting. 31.6% of us are working as psych techs. Guess what, Ray? At my job, I notice a lot of psych techs are black, some Asian, but I see a lot of black psych techs at my job. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me go here. 30.5% child, family, and school social work. Guess what? Women make up a lot of that field, social work field. The majority of the social workers at my job, between all races, tend to be females. 29.1% licensed practitioners, licensed vocational nurses, motor vehicle operators, 28.2%, social workers, 27.3%, barbers, 27.1%. This is where we are, Ray. It may not sound good, it may not sound glamorous, but it's just where we are, according to the peer research, and they do real factual research as of 2023. Barbers at 27.1%, 26.3% taxi car drivers. I don't know why anybody would drive a taxi when you can just ride your own car for Uber. Well, anyway, 26.2% personal care aides, parking attendants at 26.2%, 26.1% drivers, like people who drive drive people around in fancy cars, chauffeurs, stuff like that. 25.8% insurance claims and policy processing clerks. 25.8% refuse and recycle material collectors. And the last one here, 25.0 social and human service assistants. What you don't hear a lot up here, Ray, which saddens me, is that you don't see high numbers in physicians, which is why I said I'm not going to criticize black women who are going to school for medical care when stats already show that if we have more black physicians, black people live longer. Check this out. We don't see the electrical engineering up here, unfortunately. We don't see the STEM up here. We don't see high numbers in physicians and medical and technical and computer. It's all, except for the nursing field, outside of the nursing and the social work, it's all service jobs. It's all humanities type jobs, clerks and all this sort of stuff. It doesn't sound good, Ray. No. Let me correct that. Black people that are working in these jobs are doing the best they can. Some of them may be obviously some are college educated, but these are not, these are not the high profile fields, but this is where we are right now. And as I'm going to say it right now, occupations where black workers make up 25% overall in these fields. But we have the highest numbers between 40% and 38% working in the postal service. This is where we are, Ray. Of course, you have those black entrepreneurs, black men and black women that are not working for a organization, that are business people, but that's separate. These are people working for an organization. That's where we are, Ray. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. As sad as it may sound to some people.
Well, that's all I'm saying is that people should date and marry in their lane. There's some type of triggering that's going on when these men feel that maybe they went to high school with some of these women. I don't know, but they feel that they are entitled to attack these women, to belittle their education. Those women that are at that level, the upper tier, the high value women, they're in the league of their own. So these men should be able to find the feminine, soft, kind, nurturing women that they want within their lane, because cross-class marriages is just, they have great difficulty working. And that's
Right.
the points that we were trying.
Let me answer what Diggable Logic is saying. He says, information man, but these figures are post 1960s. In the 1960s, what was the jobs that black people were engaging in? Skill trades, my brother. Why did you have the great migration from the South to the North? Because black people were working in car manufacturing factories, canning, factories where they canned goods. And what was happening? And back in those days in the 60s, brother, if you had a good factory job, especially if you lived in Cleveland, Ohio, or you lived in Detroit, you know this history, Diggable Logic, you could actually buy a house. Inflation was different. The cost of living was different. Let's take that into account. The cost of living today is totally out of whack. But in those days, you could send your kids to school, maybe even college, buy a house and a car with that factory job that you got with just a high school education. Those jobs have been what, my brother? Shipped across seas where you have foreigners. These companies have auctioned out those jobs, have sold those jobs, sold us out to off seas. You know that, brother. What happened to Detroit once all those jobs went under? Then here comes crime, here comes drugs, here comes violence because people had no opportunities. So yes, most black people in those days were involved in skilled trades, and racism was at a higher degree than it is now, where you couldn't even go to certain schools. If you wanted to be a black physician, a black doctor, Dr. Drew, who created blood plasma, died because they would not take him to a white hospital, because in those days, if you were black, you had to go to a hospital that served only black people. That's why Dr. Drew died. Yet he made blood plasma, needed plasma, and died without getting the very invention that he created. Black people went through hell in the 60s, even working in skilled trades. Which is why the baby boomer generation told my generation, go to college. They thought that going to college would be the answer to us having a better life than they had, because they spent most of their life working with their hands. Now in the 21st century, with the Z generation, skilled trades is making a comeback, where the younger generation is saying, I don't want to go to college and get debt. I want to go and be a plumber. I want to be an electrician, so on and so forth. Ray, we're going to get close to a conclusion, brother. You have anything you want to say?
Well, I enjoyed the show on that. The basic premise, as you said, are blue collar black men compatible with college educated career black women. The short answer and long answer is basically no. There will be exceptions to the rule. It is better for people to date and marry in their lane. They'll be happier. They'll be more productive to themselves, and they'll have someone with more that they have in common, more things that they have in common to enjoy life with. So I do not agree with the attack on educated black women. I think the guys need to just go ahead and put their energy somewhere else and allow our sisters to shine and encourage personal excellence for our brothers and our sisters in a variety of areas.
I'm just going to focus my energy on being with the women or the woman that I want to be with. See, I can't spend my time focusing on the women that I don't want, even though some of these women that I don't want don't represent our communities very well, and it can be embarrassing. But my focus has to be on building myself up and engaging with the woman that I want, that fits my criteria and my what do you call it? What I want, don't lower my standards. A woman that meets my standards is a woman that I will covet. And but I'm going to say again, I understand why black men, even if I don't agree with certain talking points, I understand why black men get on panels and voice their opinions about things, because it's a way to get the frustration out. It works as sort of a therapy for black men to talk to other black men about things that they are similarly experiencing. And I get that because that's what we do in therapy, Ray. You get people in a circle, they talk out their frustration. But this is the problem where it becomes unproductive when you don't reach a solution to the problem for yourself. And you don't say, this is what I'm going to do to focus on self and to better myself. And this is the direction I'm going to go with the kind of women that I'm looking for. Right. But let me just read this here. Dating or being married to a college educated black woman with a professional career that earns six figures as a physician, state district judge, or school district administrator. I just wanted to read that real quick. And I want to say this to the brothers out there. There are skilled trade positions where black men can earn up to $100,000 or more. So these skilled trades, you can't sleep on them because depending on what type of skilled trade you go into, you can make pretty damn good money. The unique tension of couples who marry across classes. This is Harvey Wingfield, The Power of the Past, Understanding Cross-Class Marriage. And I put those books up. This is the one that you didn't talk about, Ray, before we get ready to conclude today. This book right here, let me put this up here and let me take this off and put this book up right here. Ray, you didn't talk about this book, The Richer Sex, How the New Majority of Female Breadwinners is Transforming Sex, Love, and Family. What's your thoughts about this particular book?
Well, that is the book that we kind of didn't get to get into that real deeply, but it kind of brings everything together. These women who are excelling in the marketplace in their careers, what they're doing is that she's showing that they are becoming breadwinners now. From Media Man's show, he showed that 60% of black married couples, 60% of the women are either making equal of their husband or more. Now, 40% of black males are the primary breadwinners.
Okay.
But that 60% equal or more is pretty significant. And as the boomers retire and Gen X start getting retired, we're going to see that change because the millennial women and the Gen Z women are really making some serious moves.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, brother. Well, Ray, once again, brother, I want to thank you for bringing this topic up. You always come with some hard-hitting topics. Don't stop bringing more topics up that we can talk about in the future. I know someone had made the statement about let's focus a topic as it relates to black boys or black young men and why they are maybe falling behind, maybe what can be done. I think one of the things I think that can be done, Ray, remember I think it was you, we had the young brother on who was going to, he was a computer engineer. I think that we need to encourage our young men to go into skilled trades as well. Mm-hmm. And you said something a long time ago in a video that we did together about semiconductor going into like tech and the money that's involved in that. There's so many things that we can gear young people towards, particularly our young men, because obviously the young black ladies are they're doing it. But we can't, our young men will fall behind if we're not creating programs specifically to focus on them. My organization, we do that, and we're going to keep on doing it. And that's where we are right now, Ray. So any last words, Ray, before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think you did a great job on that. I'd like to see more people talk about that. And this is not just to save anyone. What this is just talking about, hey, let's respect people for what they're doing productive in their lives. Let's respect our women for what they're doing productive. And the people that are bitter, the men that are bitter about their lives or had bad experiences with some women, please don't paint all these women like that. There are going to be some people are going to be doing some out of order things, but this attack, I think, comes from a position of pain, a position of feeling left out. And instead of attacking our women, let's get our, as you said, let's get our game together as men. Let's help our boys be the best they can be so that the next generations coming forward will be able to realize everything that their potential has for them.
Right. I just want to say, Doc Brown, I do recognize that there are some skilled trade positions where you are exposed to certain hazards and health becomes an issue when you're doing skilled trades, when you're using your physical strength in your body. There can be some wear and tear. We definitely know that is a reality. But it doesn't change the facts that the Z generation has made up their mind that they're going skilled trade. Look it up for yourself. A lot of young men in the Z generation are saying, I don't want to go to college because they have sat back and watched their uncles, their fathers, and family members be in debt. And they say, hey, why the hell should I sit in a school for all these years, get debt, when I can make that money right now, get myself in an apprenticeship program, become a part of a union, and make some pretty damn good money. And then if they choose to build a family, they're prepared financially to do so. So, Ray, let's do this again. Let me say shout out to Brother Narratives and Dialogue. Let me shout out to Brother Reckless Ray, who came in with some good points. We got Wow William 454, who came in with good points. Ray, this is the type of content that, our people really need to engage in, other than the celebrity talk and all the gossip that goes on. This is the type of content that I think we were very fair the way we presented this. I see both sides of the equation, Ray, with this issue. I know Ebony K. Williams did what she did, having a baby, but I would say, Ray, that I don't want to see professional Black women go down that route personally, because it does not build Black family, because now the man is missing from the family that you've artificially created an individual situation for yourself by cutting the man out, by going and getting yourself pregnant artificially. It may benefit her as an individual woman who wants a child. Maybe she's tired of waiting for the right man for herself, whatever her personal situations is. I don't know all the details, but I don't think someone who has a high platform like her, I don't think that it's good to put her on the pedestal of this. Not that you're putting her, but in overall for our young ladies to see, because it also destroys, in my opinion, it does not promote Black family. And that's a problem. Other groups are coming here and they are populating, having family, and they're coming over here to compete everybody. They're not coming over here to be our friends. And Black people, we need to understand that. It's time for us to realize that we are in a competition. We got to compete, and we have to prepare our families for this. And Black men, it starts with you, because if we're going to say that we're leaders, that we're masculine, that we're this and that, then it has to start with us doing what we need to do to first deal with ourselves first, which is building ourselves up. And then from there, everything will fall in place. And now you have more options to pick from, the kind of women that you want, to live the kind of lifestyle that you want. You have the options. You have the power. With that said, Ray, we're going to get ready to get on out of here. I want to appreciate everybody who came in today, who's watching the program. And Ray, take care, my brother, until we do this again. Everybody in the chat room, you take care of yourself. And we're going to get ready to get out of here. Peace to everybody. Thank you. Definitely share the video if you can. Check out my other channel, the It's no longer the Information Man Speaks podcast. It's called Info Media Reacts. I will be reacting to all different video content, social media content, any issue that happens. We're going to be having it popping over there as well. So everybody take care and peace to you.
All right, then. Thank you, Information Man. Enjoyed the show and have a great day. You did a great job. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you too, brother. Take care of yourself.
All right, then. Thank you.
Peace.
Tell the truth. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Listening to the Information Man Show, everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah. Take care.